Hey, warrior, what if I told you that the real tragedy of modern life is not a lack of intelligence, talent, or opportunity, but a quiet collapse of mental strength? Many people today are not loudly failing, they are slowly surrendering. They scroll endlessly through their phones, comparing their lives to strangers, measuring their worth through likes, status, and approval. Envy quietly creeps in, confidence quietly fades, and before long they feel stuck, confused, and powerless. We chase comfort at every turn, easy entertainment, easy pleasures, easy escapes, yet somehow we feel more drained than ever before. We avoid pain as if it's poison, yet we suffer internally every single day. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people refuse to face. Comfort is slowly weakening us. It numbs our will, dulls our courage, and erodes our resilience. Struggle, on the other hand, though harsh and uncomfortable, contains the seed of real strength. And this is not a new discovery. Long before smartphones, social media, and the endless stream of self-help advice, the ancient Stoic philosophers had already uncovered this truth. One of them, the Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius, wrote words that still cut through the noise of modern life. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This isn't just a philosophical quote meant to sound wise. It's a weapon for the mind. It's a principle that allows a person to walk through chaos without losing their center. Stoicism does not promise a life free from hardship or struggle. Instead, it builds something far more powerful, a person who cannot be easily shaken. In this journey, we explore 8 brutal Stoic laws designed to sharpen your mind, strengthen your emotions, and elevate your spirit. These are not empty motivational slogans. These are raw principles tested in the harsh realities of ancient Rome, yet they remain just as relevant in the modern world. But before going further, there is something important to understand. If you truly want growth, you cannot treat these ideas like background noise while scrolling through your day. This is not just another motivational video meant to briefly excite you and then fade away. Consider it a wake-up call. Engage with it. Reflect on it. Share it with someone who might need this reminder. And most importantly, stay present with every idea, because sometimes a single principle can provide clarity or courage at the exact moment life tests you. The first brutal Stoic law is simple but powerful. Embrace discomfort like a friend. Modern culture trains us to run away from discomfort. We are conditioned to seek convenience, ease, and pleasure in everything we do. But the Stoics taught the exact opposite move, toward discomfort deliberately, because that is where strength is built. Think back to the moments that shaped you the most. Were they the comfortable days when everything flowed easily? Or were they the moments when life knocked you down and forced you to choose between breaking apart or rising stronger? Even Marcus Aurelius himself, despite being emperor, lived through constant pressure wars at the empire's borders, political betrayals, personal illness, and unimaginable responsibility. Yet instead of wishing for an easier life, he accepted hardship as a forge for character. He famously wrote that the obstacle in the path becomes the path itself. In other words, every barrier you face is not just a problem. It is an opportunity to sharpen your discipline, patience, and resilience. Modern life tells us to avoid pain at all costs, but Stoicism quietly reminds us to train for it. The cold shower that shocks your body awake, the difficult conversation you've been avoiding, the workout you push through when exhaustion whispers for you to quit, these moments carve strength into your character. Another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, even practiced voluntary discomfort. At times he would sleep on the floor, eat the simplest food, and wear rough clothing, not because he hated comfort, but because he wanted to prepare his mind. If life ever stripped away luxury, he would not panic or collapse. He would already know how to endure, and this reveals an important truth. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your mirror. It reveals your weaknesses, but it also reveals your potential. When people avoid small discomfort today, they often face much greater suffering later. But when you walk willingly into challenge, something extraordinary begins to happen. You stop fearing it, and the moment you stop fearing hardship, a new kind of freedom emerges. From that point forward, discomfort becomes like a training partner. It might push you, exhaust you, and even bruise your ego, but it is shaping you into someone stronger than before. Start small. Choose one uncomfortable action today and complete it without debate. Maybe it's a cold shower, an honest conversation, a disciplined workout, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts instead of distracting yourself. Each small act of voluntary struggle strengthens your will, and over time you begin to understand a powerful truth. Warriors are not created in comfort. They are forged in moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. The path to becoming unstoppable begins the moment you stop running from difficulty and start facing it with courage. They expected pain, loss, betrayal, and change. And because they expected it, they were always ready. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Fairness is a beautiful idea, but if you cling to it too tightly, it can make you weak. When we say, "This isn't fair," what we're really saying is, "I don't like how this feels, and I don't want to deal with it." But here's the unfiltered truth. Growth never comes from waiting for life to be fair. Growth comes from facing reality head-on and moving forward anyway. Look around, bad things happen to good people. Evil people sometimes win. Effort doesn't always guarantee reward. This isn't pessimism. It's life. And here's what separates the average from the unstoppable. The average waits for fairness. The Stoic builds inner power so strong that no external circumstance can break them. This doesn't mean you become cold or heartless. It means you stop waiting for the world to treat you right and start treating yourself right, no matter how unfair life feels. Seneca said it best. Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, especially when life seems unfair. The Stoic transforms pain into fuel, betrayal into wisdom, and hardship into opportunity. Radical responsibility becomes their mantra, not because life is always their fault, but because it's always their move. You can't control what life throws at you, but you can always control how you respond. That grounded, calm, warrior-like response is what makes you unstoppable. Fairness may not be promised, but freedom is earned. One deliberate choice at a time. Next, Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. The Stoics knew your true power lies in a very small, specific space. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Everything else, the opinions of others, the uncertainty of the future, chance, circumstance, let it go. Epictetus put it simply: make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Most people fall into a trap of trying to control everything outside their reach. They chase other people's approval, obsess over outcomes, panic over uncertainty. That's why so many feel anxious, powerless, or frustrated. But here's the shift. When you focus only on what is yours to command your choices, your effort, your mind, you reclaim your power. You stand firm while the world sways around you. Picture a storm at sea. The average person screams at the wind. The Stoic grabs the wheel, navigates with calm, and stays steady when everyone else panics. That's how clarity, discipline, and composure become your superpowers. And here's a simple exercise. Every time stress rises, ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, act. If no, release it. Nothing more, nothing less. Simple, yet devastatingly effective. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you find strength no one can shake. Number 5. Practice voluntary hardship to forge an unbreakable will. In a world addicted to comfort, discipline becomes a secret weapon. The Stoics didn't wait for life to challenge them, they challenged themselves first. Not to punish, but to prepare. Seneca instructed, set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare. With coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition I feared? This was voluntary hardship, a deliberate training ground to build a mind that wouldn't crack under pressure. Most people today avoid discomfort at all costs, yet when real adversity hits, they break, panic, and blame. The Stoic, however, has already walked through hunger, fatigue, rejection, and struggle by choice. That doesn't make them invincibly, makes them adaptable, prepared, and focused. Voluntary hardship can be as simple as fasting, cold showers, waking early to train, or saying no to a luxury just to strengthen self-restraint. Each small, intentional act compounds over time. Comfort doesn't make you stronger. Challenge does. And when life inevitably tests you, you won't run your rise because you've already walked through fire on purpose. Marcus Aurelius ruled during plagues, wars, and betrayals. Yet he wrote with clarity and calm because hardship was expected, not feared. Number 6. Detach from outcomes and fall in love with the process. Modern culture conditions us to obsess over results. Get the promotion, win the deal, earn the recognition, hit the target, but that obsession is a trap. Stoicism teaches that your freedom lies in mastering the work itself, not the result. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When you cling to results, disappointment becomes inevitable. You work hard for a week, don't see the outcome, and you quit. You launch a project, it fails, and you feel worthless. You love someone, they leave, and you collapse. But if you fall in love with the process, the showing up, the effort, the daily grind, you always win. Your focus, your discipline, and your persistence become unstoppable forces. Results are uncertain, but effort is always yours. When you make the process your devotion, your life stops being a fragile reaction to circumstances and becomes a fortress built on your unshakable commitment. Master the work, embrace the struggle, and the results will follow or they won't, but you will have already won the greatest prize: control over yourself. And here's the kicker. Ironically, the moment you let go of needing a specific outcome, that's when you start achieving more. Because you're no longer desperate, no longer emotional, no longer chasing validation from anyone but yourself. You're grounded in action, focused on what you can control, and that's a power few understand. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." In other words, stop obsessing over what might happen tomorrow and commit fully to the process right now. If you're a writer, write not to go viral, but to sharpen your mind. If you're an athlete, train not just to win, but to master your body. If you're building something, build not for applause, but for pride in the effort. The moment you tie your self-worth to outcomes, you become fragile. The moment you tie it to discipline, intention, and focus, you become unstoppable. Fall in love with the craft, not the result. Show up as if the work is already done and you're just enjoying the process. The bonus? You've already won because you did the work. Number 7. Embrace death. Live with urgency and purpose. Most people drift through life as if they have unlimited time. They delay dreams, tolerate bad habits, and settle for mediocre relationships. But the Stoics reflected on death not to be grim, but to awaken. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That's freedom. That's clarity. Life is short. You don't get a guaranteed tomorrow. Every moment wasted scrolling, procrastinating, or tolerating mediocrity is gone forever. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remember, you will die not to terrify, but to sharpen focus, to force intentionality, to inspire urgency. Seneca reminds us, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. You might not control the length of your life, but you can control the depth. That risk you avoid, that project you postpone, that forgiveness you delays is your moment. Face death honestly, and you stop squandering your life. You act, create, love, and move with focus. You stop chasing cheap validation. You live awake, present, and unstoppable. Number 8. Be a warrior for virtue, not approval. Most people live for likes, applause, recognition, or admiration. The Stoic doesn't move for the crowd, they move for what is right. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter. Speak the truth, even when no one sees. Train hard, even when no one is watching. Keep your word, even when it costs you." That's virtue. That's integrity. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being principled. The right path is often the hard path. It's easier to lie than to tell the truth, easier to impress than to be authentic, easier to follow the crowd than to stand alone. But every time you choose the harder, the right choice, you sharpen your edge. You become someone your future self can admire. Seneca said, "I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and read the other." That's true power. In a world of noise, the Stoic is still. In a world of image, the Stoic is real. In a world of performance, the Stoic is genuine. Live for virtue, not approval. Live in such a way that even if stripped of money, status, or followers, you would still stand tall. The moment you stop needing the crowd, you become the person everyone wants to follow anyway. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is ready to evolve, to leave behind distraction, weakness, and chaos, and step into something greater, not perfection, but power. Not control over others, but mastery over yourself. That's the Stoic path. It doesn't promise comfort, but it delivers clarity, purpose, and meaning even when the world around you crumbles. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus didn't write for easy times. They wrote to survive storms, betrayals, and death with dignity. True strength is not measured in muscles or money. It's in the person who keeps their word. It's in the one who faces fear without flinching. It's in the soul that does the right thing, especially when it's hard. You don't need motivation. You don't need the perfect moment. You just need to begin. Train your mind. Expect struggle. Detach from outcomes. Hold your principles. Live like your time is limited, because it is. And the best part? You don't need applause, recognition, or approval. Walk the Stoic path and you become unshakable from within. That strength is rare. That strength is real. And that strength is yours. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am becoming unshakable day by day. If this resonated with you, like the video. Comment your favorite Stoic law, share it with someone ready to rise, and subscribe to join a community of thinkers, warriors, and real ones who refuse to settle for noise and mediocrity. Every moment, every choice, every struggle is training. Keep showing up. Keep choosing strength. And never stop until you become unstoppable.